And there you have it, the national anthem here at University Park. Kind of rushed in those coaches for the Dukes. Let me run those down for you once again. A former JMU soccer player Rachel Shupin, of course, joined the soccer staff and assistant coach in May of 2009, and she graduated. Actually, it was the team captain during the 2009 campaign, and she was a member of 2 JMU teams that received at-large berths to the NCAA tournaments in 2007 and 2008. Scott Gernseny he previously was an assistant coach and recruiting coordinator at another CAA school, that being Towson. He was there for 4 years, and he was promoted to associate head coach for the Tigers in August 2011. And prior to that, he was an assistant coach and recruiting coordinator at Eastern Kentucky, where he helped to start the program there for the Colonels. And that now he is an assistant head coach and the recruiting coordinator for Coach Dave Lombardo and the Dukes of James Madison University.
Well, we'll see how tonight's game turns out. We have the herd from Marshall here, and they did have an impressive performance against Ball State, having 14 shots, 10 of them being on goal. So it's going to be a true test for the James Madison goalie tonight. Hopefully the defense can keep it up, but we're looking for a good match between these two schools.
Again, the first time these two teams have met on the women's soccer pitch. Don't know much, although Marshall's only been playing soccer since 1998, although the Dukes, again, starting in 1990. So, of course, there are a lot of young women's soccer programs around the country. It really exploded during the 90s. A lot of schools around the country started playing the sport. And JMU, it seemed to be a natural because, you get a lot of soccer playing in Northern Virginia and up the East Coast, and just where JMU gets many of its players, it seemed to fit in very appropriately so. So the Dukes with the opening possession here today, and we'll see Hallie Miller come in and driving with it now for the Thundering Herd. Pushing it down, it's going to be quartered. A little bit of a chip shot up. That's Isabel Chang. Getting pushed off the ball, a foul called against Alyssa Cathy. So it'll be a free kick for Rano. Rano, a sophomore, again the team's rookie of the year a year ago, and an All-Colonial Athletic Association all-rookie selection as well. Shannon recently celebrated a birthday. I think it was just last weekend, if I'm not mistaken. Again, on the Bermuda grass here. This looks very well shorn, and a couple of the exhibition game was played here for the Dukes last week against Virginia Commonwealth. The men were scheduled to play a game here against Maryland-Baltimore County, but it got washed out midweek. Now, the men went to Radford yesterday and won 2-0 in an exhibition game. That's knocked out by Stephanie Hamilton, and we've got the throw-in for the Herd. Booting it forward. That's Chelsea Maiden, the senior from Vienna, West Virginia. And Kate Corder corrals it for the Dukes. Just a couple of minutes into the season opener for the Dukes. Game number 2 for the Thundering Herd. Chang on the near side, right in front of the spectators here. And ball just does trickle out of bounds before Kelly Kerrigan could collect it. So another toss in. And doing so is Leah Foster. Freshman over the head, gets it down past the midfield stripe, and Rano quickly takes it away. It's Amalia Clayton with it, dancing it into the circle. Runs in a little traffic there, but nicely covered by Haley Miller. Miller releases it left side to Alyssa Halleck. So Halleck and Kerrigan getting starts in their first collegiate games.
Well, the Dukes have had some time practicing on this Bermuda grass. Their practice field is actually just up the hill from here, so this surface is nothing new to them. They've had a couple weeks to get things going as they were the first team out here in the new facility.
Orano again, she's been very active defensively, misses that pass trying to get Lauren Wilson going over the top. It's Wilson receiving that pass from Kerrigan. They're going to say she was offsides. Well, a number of players that are not eligible for the Dukes tonight due to some injuries. Olivia Tomoff, redshirt sophomore from Crofton, Maryland, Don't think she's going to be available tonight. I am certain that Elisa Davidson, a senior, and Becky Sparks, a junior, will not be playing tonight. They are going to be available for next weekend's JMU tournament here. But they wanted to, the doctor said, lay off the contact for a while. They're still working out, doing some cardio, but no real heavy physical contact for either one of those players. And they are two of the more experienced among the Dukes. Foster with the throw in at the corner of the box. Headed up, coming in and getting in the activity is Kerrigan. Much of the play has been played midfield towards the JMU box thus far. And, you know, that might be, Mike, the fact that the Thundering Herd has already had one game under its belt, so their offense might be a little more in the groove, whereas maybe the Dukes trying to work out some of the opening moments, the butterflies of the opening moments of the season.
And like you said, it's going to be the first 5 or 10 minutes. You have some freshmen out here on the field getting their first collegiate experience, out here in front of fans. It's way different than practice, so look to see some changes in about 10 minutes in the game as it starts to loosen up and they get used to it.
This is Clayton on the far side now for the Dukes. And ball taken away, served up, but nobody there, so it'll be an easy hop to Kate Quarter to corral it, and she'll have everybody move down and she'll punt it away.
Well, it looks like we have the sun peeking out, so this is in JMU's advantage to have the sun in the Marshall keeper's eyes. But we're looking for an attack, and
here we go. This is Menzie trying to set it up. She'll play it from the midfield, goes over, and to the right, coming to the right side, a little overshot on the pass there. Isabel Chang is there. Chang to Kerrigan. Kerrigan gets it taken away. Dukes have to be very cautious of a counter now by the Thundering Herd. Erin Simmons, she scored a goal and an assist on Friday night's matchup. She slips it through. Here's the run. Coming up, it's Kelsey Maiden. Maiden gets a one-on-one situation, slips it to the right post, and just misses it. Had the open corner, but maybe a little too over-anxious. A good counter by the Marshall Thundering Herd. As I mentioned, have to be careful about that after the Dukes had a little bit of a build. Maiden's only goal last year came against a member of the CAA, the Rams of VCU, which actually will no longer be in the CAA as of now. The Rams beat the Thundering Herd 4-1 last year. That was the only goal that Maiden scored on 20 shots that she took in 2011. She just really had a chance to hit that one and give the Thundering Herd a 1-0 road lead, but that's not the case. Ball taken away. Here she comes again, though. Dukes do have a couple of defenders given up nicely. Here's the shot and the save by Quarter, diving to her left. That shot taken by Erin Simmons.
Yeah, it looks like the Dukes need to settle down in the back and really communicate. The Herd is definitely slipping the balls through the back line.
Miller chips it away to the far side. Haven't seen much play on the bench side of the facility. And you mentioned the sun, Mike. One of the things the Dukes are considering, you see they have the benches on the far side. In fact, Marshall's players are trying to shield the sun from their eyes as the ball goes over the top. Isabel Chang looking for Hamilton on that. They may actually move the benches over here on the spectator side so that the sun is to their backs, particularly during afternoon games. And they may decide, this is all my opinion, they may decide to do that up until maybe mid-September or so, because even these 7 o'clock starts, you're going to get some low sun right into the eyes. Fortunate thing is it won't last that long, as you can see the long shadows that run away from us right now. Amalia Clayton slips it in. Chang. Nope, I'm sorry, make that Germain, rather. I have to get used to this new vantage point. I'm so accustomed to being almost on the field, and now we're back a ways, although the altitude, the height is great as we can see plays develop. I'm glad that it's not Marshall wearing the white uniforms and it's JMU, because otherwise those numbers are difficult to read on the white jerseys with the gold numbers there.
They definitely are, but you've had plenty of experience in figuring out all the players on the women's side.
You do get to know them all, and that's one of the real pleasures of working in college athletics is getting to know all the college student athletes. Ball will be a toss in for Amalia Clayton on the far side. In the exhibition match against VCU, against VCU the other day, a similar start, Mike, in the sense that the Dukes looked a little disorganized, a little ragged at first, but as the match continued on, the momentum seemed to switch over. Dukes actually were down 1-0, ended up tying that 1-1. But it did take a little while in that exhibition for the Dukes to kind of get their legs underneath them. And now chasing it down the far side. Here's a run for it. And chip back in. Almost, wow, just cleared out. I would say almost an own goal, but I believe that Foster knew exactly what she was doing.
Or at least she'll say so.
But it does produce a corner for the Dukes.
By far the Dukes' best attacking effort so far.
Absolutely, and looks like Lauren Wilson will be on the far side to chip it in. It's going to curl around a bit. Brought back in by Germain. Here comes Isabel Chang making contact there, the good hard collision, and she comes away with the ball. She had to cover a lot of ground to get over there because she's the right back. She went all the way to the left side. So she stopped the counter this time. Good play by Isabel Chang, the redshirt freshman. Chang will now get it here on the near side. Slows it down. Runs contact. Sliding it back and slotting it there. And Halleck, the freshman, will play it safe and sends it back to quarter. Amalia Clayton, one of the seniors for the Dukes, back into quarter again. Kate Truly is junior, so she's been with the program for 3 years, only her second year of competition.
Right now, as you can see, the entire field of play is cut in half. There's not a lot of depth to the sidelines, so look to see Coach Lombardo talking to them about opening up the field as much as possible, using all that space.
Toss in, goes inside the box, but headed right back out to the corner. Good idea on that play, but not a lot of energy off the boot on the attempt. The quarter will clear it out again. 3 shots for the Thundering Herd. Dukes have yet to get a shot off. 1 save for quarter here as we're playing in the 11th minute of the 2012 women's soccer season for the Dukes of James Madison. Ball cleared out there by Jenna Dubbs, a freshman from Green Lane, Pennsylvania. Right now the field relatively tilted to the left as we watch the match, as you do as well, with much of the play in the Dukes' defensive end. Off the head of Kerrigan. Wilson rolls it around, fighting there with Foster. Foster puts it in the middle, sits it up. Kelly Germain has it. Germain tried to squeak it ahead to Hamilton, had a good idea of it. Haley Miller gets ahead on it. That's Maiden. Miller may have got away with a little bit of a foul there, but coming out of the pack is Kelly Colasurdo, a freshman. One of 2 Colasurdos on the team. Her sister Christine, a junior. They're out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Chipped ahead, and quarter will call for it. As we drop towards the 33-minute mark here in this first half of play. No score, JMU and Marshall. Thank you for joining us this evening on Matazone, the internet broadband channel for JMU Athletics. I'm Kurt Dudley along with Mike Pryor this evening. And Lauren Wilson slides it up. Hamilton was the intended, couldn't get around the defender. Kerrigan, Miller over to Menzie. Menzie has to dance around with it a bit. Collects it over now to the far left side. It goes to Amalia Clayton. Clayton is knocked off the ball. And here come the Thundering Herd, thundering forward. But Shannon Rano steps up again defensively for the Dukes. She finds a counter for Stephanie Hamilton. Hamilton will not have enough speed to get to the ball. And coming out is Lindsey Kearns, the junior from Hurricane, West Virginia.
It's the right idea, just a little too much mustard on it.
And it's going to take a little while as well for the Dukes to kind of feel this turf and know how much oomph they need to put on the ball. They don't practice on this turf. They practice on the other facility.
Especially with all the rain we got today.
That's
it's
true,
definitely
too.
going to slow it up a little bit, and the ball's going to skip.
Kearns in goal for Marshall. Last year had 54 saves, a goal against average of 0.84. Now, she played only 8 games. She led the league with a 90% save percentage and was in on 3 shutouts. And she and Haw split time. This is probably, I don't know if Haw will play this close to home, being from Charlottesville, again in her career, unless they head over to play one of the teams in Richmond maybe, or maybe George Mason. There's hard contact by Germain, no surprise there. Kelly, a very blue-collar player, again comes from a big soccer family. Her sister, Kimmy, also played here at James Madison. Both parents, soccer players as well. In fact, her mother was a member of the U.S. women's national team back in the mid-'80s. And her father and grandfather, her father's name's Kip, her grandfather, Everett Germain Jr., have been inducted into the D.C. Virginia Soccer Hall of Fame. So quite a pedigree there for Kelly Germain. Germain just very happy. Offsides is going to be the call, I believe. Nope. Yep, there it is. Took a little while for it to get registered there. Billy Kingsley is the man in the middle officiating.
I'm sure he's struggling with the sun as well.
Yeah, that could be very it. That's right. The other thing is the sound dynamics of this facility too. You got to kind of get used to how that with the concrete, with the big stone. In fact, you know how much those stones are a piece in weight? 1 ton each. So there's a lot of stone tonnage in here.
Glad to know it's not going anywhere.
It's our own version of the pyramid, I think. Nice pass, slipped up to Wilson from Chang. Wilson dribbles between 3 green. And offsides on Stephanie Hamilton. Hamilton out of California.
You can see the Dukes opening up the field a little bit, stronger defensive plays and a little bit more opportunities up top.
Going over the top. Clayton. Clayton to Germain, back to Clayton again. Sending it ahead and again offsides. Dukes are trying to be aggressive, but just a little too much.
You know, as a forward, you got to find that right spot and that timing, and it's just going to take a little bit, especially playing balls so far from the back.
You know, it's a lot easier for those forwards to slip forward as opposed to the middies trying to collect the ball and decide just where to go with it. But they may get one of the advantages in previous years of Madison, our facility. I could hear Coach Lombardo basically instructing the squad what he wanted them to do. That changes, but our other dynamics with HD and live certainly is a great trade-off, as well as the protection that we have at our new facility. Again, a lot of sunshine right now. There are a few patches of gray clouds here and there, but it doesn't look to be threatening anywhere that I can see at the moment.
Especially with our eagle eye view of the valley.
Yeah, it's interesting as you go up and down some of the hills throughout the valley where you can see the lights of this facility kind of crop up. I noticed them way over on 42 the other day, which if you're familiar with the town and city of Harrisonburg, that's on the west side of town, and we're on the east side of town now.
Well, hopefully people in the community will know when the game's going on.
Yeah, that's
Lights
true.
are on. Let's
that's
head on
true.
over.
Lights are on.
We got a good crowd.
But you'll have to learn which lights are on, because the lights will be on a lot over at the UREC facility. But it's a little more tucked back towards some of the student housing area, where this facility is more towards some of the residential areas.
For the opening game of the Dukes, they have a good crowd, especially with majority of the students not even being here yet. We have some Marshall fans as well.
Very true. Did see, actually, I think the first 2 fans that arrived were from Marshall. Something else interesting about this site is as you go up the hill, there's a monument up there. That's where General Turner Ashby was killed, actually, in 1862. It was June the 6th, and they were up there perched with the 58th Virginia. He was a general in Stonewall Jackson's army, and they were actually anticipating the Union group to come through right behind us here on Port Republic Road. But instead, they snuck around them and came up from where the Convocation Center is and came over Chestnut Ridge. And then, so Turner Ashby was killed up there. And that monument is right at the top of this overall facility. It's a beautiful view up there, too. So if you come to visit, I do suggest you go up there and see that. There's a local high school that's also named in honor of Turner Ashby out down in Bridgewater. Katie Menzie tumbles away. She'll get tripped. So we're actually on old battleground. So there have been battles fought here before, and we'll see a lot of battles in the future here on the soccer pitch and the lacrosse field.
Growing up in Yorktown, I'm very familiar with battlefields.
Yes, you would
all
be.
Over the place.
Yes, you would be.
Good old historical triangle.
Our new president at James Madison, Jonathan Alger, is a big history buff, and he actually met he's not from Virginia, but he met his wife in Virginia. He's from near Rochester, New York, and he's glad to be in Virginia because of all the history that there is here. American history is what he really has a fondness for.
Well, he picked the right state.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. So we continue on. There's a little history for you. We've got history on the Dukes, history of this facility, history of Civil War here. And the Dukes trying to make history here tonight as the first team to play at this brand new facility as we're playing in the 21st minute. Dukes have been outshot 4-0. Now maybe a shot for the Dukes. And Menzie with a battle. Looked nearly like a handball there, but no doing. Wilson sets it up. Wanted to come to the far side. Here's a shot. That taken by the freshman, Kelly Kerrigan, out of Downingtown, Pennsylvania. And that comes with about 24-20 to play here in this first half.
It's a beautiful night out for some soccer. It definitely doesn't feel like it's August.
No, it doesn't. No, not at all.
This is a fall night.
Well, it was like yesterday. We were at Bridgeport Stadium for Meet the Dukes. In fact, women's soccer team was there as well to sign autographs with the soccer poster and some of the fans that were there. And it actually had a little bit of a fall twinge in the air that made you feel like, oh, this is a good day to be out here for football. So good contingent on hand yesterday morning as the Dukes will be opening up on the gridiron in 13 days, September 1st. Here's a shot taken, headed out by Rano. Still kind of dangerous here. And there's a handball. Erin Simmons trying to settle. Man, she got a hand on it. Another player I should mention that's not available for the Dukes today is Sam Lofton, 5'8" defender and a junior. Also, she's from Hershey. Well, the Lock Haven, Pennsylvania, I should say. She played her club sport with the Hershey Attack. She's another of the Dukes that I should have mentioned earlier as I was giving you the list of the PUP list. Physically unable to perform at this point.
Not much movement on the Marshall bench, but we see a few people loosening up. We'll see if they step on the field this half or just trying not to stay tight.
A couple of Dukes out there. Looks like, can't tell from, it looks like Teresa Naquin may be one of them. We'll find that out when they do come in. Actually, a couple of other Dukes are right there at the substitute table, and actually they're going in now to try to get in, work into the lineup.
You could see Coach Lombardo trying to talk to them a little bit of strategy and how he wanted things to play. It looked like he was trying to get the forwards more involved on the wings.
It's a good play by Wilson there. Wilson still tiptoeing with it, puts it in the middle. Nobody there, but Miller's there to fill in the gap. Miller splits a couple of defenders. Nobody home to answer the call, however. Menzie toes it forward. Wilson slides it through. Here's Hamilton. Hamilton, again, not enough speed to catch up to the ball. And there's Hellick. Goes right back to her again. That just bought a little time for the JMU defense to get back, but it also allowed for Marshall to push its forwards up a bit too after the counter. Marshall with a little more possession. That was the one thing I think I heard the coaches talk about is Duke's looking for a little more possession time in that exhibition against VCU. Stolen away. Lauren Wilson. Wilson with the long shot with the goaltender out and just wide to the left. Wilson saw how far out the tender came. And as Kearns came out to meet her, Wilson got a foot on it for the Duke's second shot. And substitutes are coming in for JMU. First of all, Madison Brown, a redshirt freshman from Herndon. She moves into one of the forward slots. And Eileen Seckler, a redshirt freshman from Chantilly, coming in as well. Seckler is the right back, so there defensively you've got Rano being joined by Seckler. Also back on the defense is Alyssa Halleck. Ball over the top, and again an offsides call.
The Duke's just trying to squeeze past that line, but Marshall's been doing a really good job keeping that flat line back and keeping the Dukes off sides.
So Leah Foster will start things as we're under 20 minutes to go in this first half. Foster comes up. Here's Menzie. Menzie over to Germain. Back to Miller. Miller sends it wide. Clayton elects to go back. Releases it out to Rano. Here's Hellick. Keeps it herself over to Miller. All of a sudden, a lot of green around the ball and a counter coming up here. Getting in the way was Rano, but back to the center it goes again. Stepping up, it's Clayton. Kathy tried to get a foot on it. Now a long shot taken. That pushed forward by Kelly Colasurdo. I think Colasurdo expected her forwards just to kind of look for a follow-up, but they basically stood still. As we're playing in the 26th minute now. Maddie Brown trying to keep him along the sideline, coming up to give some help. That support by Kelly Germain, and the ball goes off the green. It'll be a throw-in for Clayton.
We're seeing a lot more pressure up top, winning the ball back in the attacking third, which is going to definitely help save the legs for later on in the game. So
there's Seckler. Seckler releases it back to Rano. Rano surveys quickly before she settles the ball. Back to Seckler. Probably back to Rano again. This time she looks over the field once again and goes to the far side. Clayton over there. Clayton into the center circle. Slides it up to Wilson. Wilson with a turn. Slots it through. Here's Madison, and Madison can't catch up with it. Brown was there up in the air. The header forward by Germain. Into the box. Cleared out. Here comes Wilson. No, make that Menzie. Menzie slides it forward, and she's taken down a penalty.